Do you ever feel a quiet whisper, a gentle urging, suggesting there is more to understand about your life's journey now? What if the wisdom you have gathered over decades has finally prepared you to see truths that were always there, just hidden from youthful eyes? Are you ready to uncover the 7 profound life lessons that only become truly clear after reaching 60? My dear friends, greetings to you all. I see you there, perhaps in the quiet comfort of your home, with a cup of tea or simply enjoying a moment of stillness. I am a humble monk, and I have spent many years observing the currents of life, the tides of joy and sorrow, the gentle unfolding of human experience. It is a profound privilege to share some reflections with you today, reflections that have often come to me through the stories of others, and through the quiet wisdom that seems to bloom most beautifully in the later chapters of our lives. Many of you, I imagine, have navigated bustling careers, raised families, faced triumphs, and weathered storms. You have sown seeds, tended gardens, and watched many sunsets. And now, perhaps, there is a new quietness, a different rhythm. A time when the external demands may have lessened, and the internal landscape becomes more visible. It is in this precious space that some of life's deepest truths begin to emerge, like stars appearing in the twilight sky. They were always there, of course, but the day's bright rush often kept them hidden. Today, I wish to share with you 7 such truths, 7 powerful lessons that many only truly come to understand and appreciate once they have passed the threshold of 60 years. These are not academic theories, but rather gentle insights, born from the tapestry of life itself, lessons that can bring a profound sense of peace, clarity, and purpose to this beautiful stage of your journey. So, let us embark on this quiet exploration together. Imagine we are sitting in a peaceful garden, sharing stories under the shade of an ancient tree. The first lesson, my friends, is one that often brings a sigh of relief when it finally settles in our hearts. The gentle art of letting go, embracing the dance of impermanence. Have you ever spent years, perhaps decades, striving to control every outcome in your life? Trying to steer the ship exactly where you wanted it to go, pushing against the currents, worrying about every ripple? Many of us, in our younger years, are gripped by the illusion of control. We believe that if we just work hard enough, plan meticulously enough, worry intensely enough, we can dictate life's trajectory. But then, as the years accumulate, a softer, more profound understanding begins to surface. I remember a story told to me by an old fisherman from a coastal village. He spoke of his youth, when he would battle the sea, convinced he could force the nets to be full, even against the strongest gales. He would grow angry, frustrated, exhausted. But with age, he said, he learned to read the sea, to understand its rhythms, its moods. He learned when to cast his nets and when to simply observe. He learned to trust the ocean and to trust his own ability to adapt. He realized that true mastery was not about forcing his will upon the sea, but about moving with it, understanding that some things were simply beyond his command. Is this not true for our own lives? How much energy have we expended trying to control our children's paths, our careers' twists, the opinions of others, even our own aging bodies? And how much peace arrived when we finally realized that much of life simply unfolds, like a river finding its path to the ocean, sometimes curving, sometimes rushing, sometimes flowing gently? This lesson is about understanding impermanence, anicca, as we call it in Buddhism. It is the fundamental truth that everything changes. Our youth changes, our health changes, our circumstances change, our loved ones change. Even our thoughts and feelings are in constant flux. When we resist this truth, we suffer. When we embrace it, when we learn the gentle art of letting go, a vast space for peace opens within us. Think about it for a moment. What burdens are you still carrying that are born from trying to control the uncontrollable? Perhaps a lingering regret about a past decision, a desire to change a loved one who refuses to change, or a fear of what the future might hold? What if, just for a moment, you allowed yourself to release the oars and simply allowed your boat to be carried by the gentle current, trusting in the inherent wisdom of life's flow? It is not about apathy, my friends, but about wisdom. It is about understanding what is within our sphere of influence, our attitude, our actions, our present moment choices, and what is not, and finding profound freedom in that distinction. This brings us to our second profound lesson, one deeply intertwined with the first: time's new melody, discovering the present moment's treasure. As we age, time seems to play a different tune, does it not? In youth, time stretched endlessly before us, a vast landscape of future possibilities. We lived in the land of someday. Someday I will travel. Someday I will relax. Someday I will truly enjoy life. But now, perhaps, you find time feels both more precious and paradoxically faster. Have you noticed how the years seem to fly by with increasing speed? One moment you are raising children, the next they are raising their own. One moment you are working, the next you are retired. This shift in our perception of time is not a curse, but a profound invitation. It is an invitation to inhabit the present moment more fully than ever before. In our Buddhist teachings, we speak of mindfulness, of being fully awake to what is happening right now, in this breath, in this sensation, in this moment. Why is this lesson so potent after 60? Because the luxury of someday diminishes. The future, while still open, feels less infinite. And the past, while rich with memories, cannot be relived. What remains, truly, is this very moment. I once heard a story about an old woman who lived in a village near a bustling city. Her children often visited, urging her to move to the city to enjoy its conveniences, its modern comforts. But she would always smile gently and say, "My dears, I have found my greatest comfort right here, in watching the morning sun paint the mountains, in listening to the birds' evening chorus, in feeling the earth beneath my feet as I tend my small garden." She wasn't rejecting the future. She was simply deeply rooted in the richness of her present. She had learned that joy was not a destination, but a way of traveling. Think of the countless moments we spend dwelling on past regrets or anxieties about the future. How much of our precious present energy is consumed by these mental journeys? What if, instead, we chose to taste the flavor of our morning coffee, truly feel the warmth of the sun on our skin, listen to the nuances in a loved one's voice, or simply notice the gentle rhythm of our own breath? This is not a grand spiritual practice reserved for monks. It is simply choosing to be present in your own life. It is recognizing that life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. And those moments are only accessible now. As we age, the clarity that each moment is a gift, a unique and unrepeatable experience, becomes undeniably vivid. How might your days feel if you approached each hour, each minute, as a precious jewel to be savored rather than rushed through? This deep appreciation for the present moment naturally guides us to our third profound insight, the unseen threads, weaving a tapestry of true connection. Looking back, what truly stands out? Is it the promotions, the accolades, the material possessions you accumulated? Or is it the laughter shared, the hands held, the quiet understanding in the eyes of a friend, the comforting presence of family? For many who cross the threshold of 60, the answer becomes unequivocally clear. Relationships are the true currency of a well-lived life. The material pursuits that once seemed so important often fade in their significance, revealing the deep, unseen threads of connection as our most precious wealth. I recall a conversation with a wise elder in my community. He had been a very successful businessman, known for his ambition and his vast fortune. Yet, in his later years, he spoke of feeling a profound emptiness despite his material achievements. He shared how he had prioritized work over family dinners, business trips over children's recitals, and networking over genuine friendships. I built an empire, he confessed with a sigh, but I neglected the true kingdom of my heart. It was only after a health scare, when he saw his children and grandchildren gather around him with love, that the scales truly fell from his eyes. He began to intentionally cultivate those relationships, not as duties, but as sources of immense joy and meaning. He started calling old friends, sharing stories, making time for simple visits. He realized that the greatest treasure was not in what he owned, but in who he loved and who loved him in return. Have you ever felt a pang of regret for time not spent with a loved one? A conversation left unsaid, or a friendship allowed to drift away? It is a common human experience. But this stage of life offers a beautiful opportunity to mend those threads, to strengthen existing bonds, and to truly cherish the people in your life. It is not about having a large social circle, but about cultivating genuine, heartfelt connections with those who truly matter. This might mean reaching out to an old friend, truly listening to your grandchild, sharing a quiet meal with your partner, or simply offering a kind word to a neighbor. These are the moments, these are the interactions that truly enrich our existence and leave an enduring legacy of love. What small gesture of connection could you offer today to weave a little more beauty into your tapestry of relationships? The warmth of human connection is a fundamental need, and its clarity shines brightest when other distractions fade. As we cherish these connections and learn to live in the present, we naturally encounter the fourth profound realization, the wisdom of the seasons, accepting life's natural flow. Life, like nature, moves through seasons. There is the vibrant spring of youth, the fruitful summer of adulthood, the rich autumn of maturity, and the quiet winter of old age. Each season has its unique beauty, its unique challenges, and its unique gifts. Yet, how often do we resist these transitions? We cling to spring and summer, lament the passing of summer and autumn, and fear the coming of winter. But after 60, many find a deeper acceptance, a profound understanding that resisting the natural flow of life only creates unnecessary suffering. I once spent time in a monastery nestled among ancient mountains. The abbess there, a woman of great serenity, taught me about the trees that surrounded us. She pointed out how they shed their leaves in autumn, not in sorrow, but in preparation for renewal. They do not cling to their green vibrancy. They embrace the cycle of letting go and resting. In winter, they stand bare, seemingly lifeless, yet within them, life patiently waits for spring. We humans, she said, often fight our own autumns and winters. We compare our aged branches to the youthful ones, lamenting what is gone, rather than celebrating the profound strength and wisdom that comes with bearing the marks of many seasons. Have you ever found yourself resisting the physical changes that come with age? Perhaps a slower pace, less energy, a body that doesn't quite move as it once did? Or perhaps you felt a resistance to new stages of life, like retirement or children leaving the nest. What if, instead, you could embrace this new season with curiosity and grace? What if you could see the beauty in the wisdom lines on your face, the strength in your continued presence, the quiet power in your experiences? This lesson is about releasing the attachment to how things used to be and finding peace in how things are. It is about understanding that true vitality isn't about perpetual youth, but about fully inhabiting the season you are in and discovering the unique gifts it offers. The stillness of winter can be a time for deep introspection and inner growth, just as much as summer is a time for outward activity. When we learn to flow with life's seasons, we tap into a deeper wellspring of peace and contentment. This profound acceptance of life's natural flow naturally leads us to our fifth powerful discovery, beyond the horizon, unearthing your deeper purpose. For much of our lives, our sense of purpose is often tied to external achievements, building a career, raising a family, accumulating wealth, achieving specific goals. These are noble pursuits, and they bring their own fulfillment. But what happens when the career ends? The children are grown, and the material desires have been met or surpassed. For many, there can be a quiet period of questioning, even a sense of loss. What now? This, my friends, is not an ending, but an invitation. An invitation to unearth a deeper, more enduring sense of purpose, one that transcends the external and resonates with the very core of your being. I knew a retired schoolteacher who, after decades of shaping young minds, found herself feeling somewhat adrift. Her days, once filled with lesson plans and lively classrooms, suddenly felt empty. She tried various hobbies, but nothing quite filled the void. One day, while visiting a local library, she noticed an elderly woman struggling to read the small print of a book. Without thinking, she offered to read to her. That small act of kindness sparked something within her. She realized her purpose wasn't tied to a paycheck or a formal classroom. It was tied to her innate desire to share knowledge, to connect, to serve. She began volunteering at the library, reading to others, and even started a small book club for those with impaired vision. Her eyes lit up when she spoke of it. "I thought my teaching days were over," she told me, "but I discovered my purpose had simply broadened. It was no longer about teaching children, but about sharing light with anyone who needed it." Have you ever felt that perhaps your greatest contributions are yet to come, but in a different form? What wisdom have you gathered? What experiences have shaped you that could now be a source of strength or guidance for others? Your deeper purpose might not be grand or dramatic. It might be found in the quiet mentorship of a younger person, the creation of beauty through art or gardening, the simple act of listening with an open heart to a friend, or offering comfort to those in need. It is about aligning with your authentic self, the values that truly matter to you, and finding ways to express them in this unique chapter of your life. This purpose is not about striving, but about flowing, allowing the natural inclination of your heart to guide you. It is a purpose of being more than doing, of contributing not out of obligation, but out of a rich overflow of your own spirit. What is that quiet longing in your heart? That gentle call to contribute in a way that truly resonates with the accumulated wisdom of your years. This profound shift in purpose naturally leads us to our sixth lesson, one that becomes increasingly vital as we navigate the changes that come with age. Listening to the temple, honoring the body's quiet wisdom. For much of our lives, we often treat our bodies like machines, pushing them, demanding performance, sometimes ignoring their subtle signals until they shout for attention. We might prioritize speed over care, ambition over rest, or external appearance over internal well-being. But as we age, the body begins to speak a different language, a language of gentle wisdom, urging us to listen more closely, to move with more intention, and to offer it the respect and care it deserves. After 60, many begin to understand that the body is not merely a vehicle, but a temple worthy of reverence and mindful attention. I recall a conversation with an elderly artist whose hands, once nimble and precise, had become gnarled with arthritis. For a long time, he fought against this change, growing frustrated and angry at his body's betrayal. He stopped painting, convinced his art was over. But then, a moment of stillness came. He began to observe his hands, not as instruments of frustration, but as parts of a larger, aging self. He started gentle exercises, not to regain youthful dexterity, but to honor the movement they could still make. He rediscovered sculpting, finding joy in the slower, more deliberate movements his body now allowed. "I learned," he told me, "that my body wasn't failing me. It was teaching me patience, teaching me acceptance, teaching me a new way to create beauty, one that honored its present state rather than demanding it be what it no longer was." Have you ever found yourself frustrated with your body's limitations, wishing it would behave as it did 20 or 30 years ago? It is a natural human tendency. But what if, instead, you approached your body with the same compassion and understanding you would offer a dear friend? What if you listen to its subtle whispers? The need for rest, the craving for nourishing food, the gentle urge for movement. This lesson is not about denying the realities of aging, but about embracing them with grace. It is about understanding that true health and well-being in this stage of life come from a place of acceptance and mindful care, rather than a relentless pursuit of youth. It is about finding joy in simple walks, in gentle stretches, in wholesome meals, in sufficient rest. It is about recognizing that your body has carried you through a lifetime of experiences, and now, more than ever, it deserves your gentle, loving attention. How might your days feel if you treated your body with profound gratitude, as a precious temple housing your spirit? And finally, my dear friends, we arrive at the seventh and perhaps most profoundly liberating lesson, one that truly blossoms when the dust of past striving begins to settle, the liberating breeze, unburdening the heart through forgiveness. As we accumulate years, we also accumulate experiences, joys, sorrows, triumphs, and inevitably hurts. We carry with us memories of perceived wrongs, both inflicted by others and often by ourselves. These unaddressed grievances, these lingering regrets, can weigh heavily on the heart, creating a subtle but persistent suffering. After 60, many come to understand that forgiveness, both of others and of oneself, is not a luxury, but a profound necessity for inner peace. It is not about condoning past actions, but about releasing their hold on your present happiness. It is like opening a window and allowing a liberating breeze to sweep through the dusty corridors of your heart. I remember a woman I met who carried a deep bitterness towards her estranged sibling for decades. The grievance was old, rooted in a childhood misunderstanding that had festered over a lifetime. She spent years recounting the story, her voice tight with anger, her face etched with pain. It was clear that the anger was hurting her more than it was hurting her sibling, who was entirely unaware of its depth. One day, after a period of quiet reflection, she decided she was tired of carrying the burden. She didn't seek reconciliation with her sibling, for that was not her goal. Instead, she chose to release the anger within her own heart. She wrote a letter, not to send, but to articulate her feelings, and then she burned it, symbolically letting go of the resentment. She then wrote a letter to herself, forgiving herself for holding on to the anger for so long. The change in her was remarkable. Her face softened, her voice gained a gentle quality, and a profound lightness filled her presence. I realized, she shared, that holding on to anger was like holding a hot coal, expecting the other person to get burned. I was the one suffering. Have you ever carried a grudge, big or small, that continues to steal your peace? Or perhaps a deep regret about a past mistake, a what if that gnaws at your heart? What if, at this stage of your life, you gave yourself the immense gift of forgiveness? This is not always easy, my friends. It requires courage and compassion, but the freedom it offers is immeasurable. Forgiving others does not mean forgetting, nor does it mean accepting hurtful behavior. It means choosing to no longer let their past actions control your present emotional state. And forgiving yourself means accepting your own imperfections, your past mistakes, and embracing yourself with kindness, understanding that you did the best you could with the understanding and resources you had at the time. What ancient burdens might you be ready to lay down, allowing your heart to feel truly light and free? The profound peace that comes from this liberation is a gift we can give ourselves, a final act of wisdom and self-compassion. My dear friends, we have journeyed together through these 7 powerful lessons, these precious gems that often only reveal their full brilliance after we have crossed the threshold of 60. Let us briefly remember them. First, the gentle art of letting go, embracing impermanence, and finding peace in the flow of life. Second, time's new melody, discovering the profound treasure of the present moment. Third, the unseen threads, recognizing that true wealth lies in our genuine connections with others. Fourth, the wisdom of the seasons, accepting life's natural changes with grace and curiosity. Fifth, beyond the horizon, unearthing a deeper, more enduring purpose that nourishes the soul. Sixth, listening to the temple, honoring our bodies with mindful care and gratitude. And seventh, the liberating breeze, finding profound peace through the healing power of forgiveness, both for others and for ourselves. These lessons are not destinations to be reached, but rather invitations to a deeper way of living, a more compassionate way of being. They are whispered wisdoms from the journey of life itself, offering solace, clarity, and a profound sense of peace. This stage of life, dear ones, is not an ending, but a magnificent chapter ripe with opportunities for growth, for deeper understanding, for sharing your accumulated wisdom, and for cultivating an inner tranquility that can truly illuminate your remaining years. As you go about your days, I invite you to gently reflect on these lessons. Perhaps choose one that resonates most deeply with you today. How might you practice the art of letting go in a small way? How might you savor a single present moment more fully? What connection could you nurture? What change could you embrace? What quiet purpose could you explore? What kindness could you offer your body? What old burden could you lighten with forgiveness? Remember, my friends, the journey of wisdom is continuous. May you walk this path with courage, with compassion, and with an ever-deepening sense of peace. May your heart be light, your mind be clear, and your spirit be filled with joy. Thank you for sharing this quiet time with me. May you be well, may you be happy, and may you find true liberation in the wisdom that blossoms in the autumn of life. Goodbye for now.